This year, our focus was just playing the numbers game. The more outreach we do, the more partners we bring in. Seeing 13 years of teams that do it, I had a really good baseline for how my team could be successful. So we did 1,100 outreaches this year. We brought in 50 corporate partners so far. We've broken the revenue records. We brought in $108,000 for the conference. Without partners, there's no revenue. Without revenue, there's no conference. And, every year as we get more and more partners and more revenue from those partners, we do bigger and better things.
For many students, this is their first go at recruiting, networking. And so for all of these students, it's a way to just get your foot in the door, not put too much pressure on yourself, meet people, learn about what they do, just be curious.
I'm DJ Frank.
And I'm Bryn Stein.
We're a part of the MSBC planning team.
And you're watching Champ Media.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of The Lab. My name is Ben Lyons, and I'm very excited today to be breaking down all things MSBC. The Michigan Sports Business Conference is on the way. It happens every October, and here to talk about it, Bryn Stein, the Media Relations Manager, and DJ Frank, the VP of Partnerships. Welcome to The Lab. We appreciate you spending some time leading up to the conference. Obviously, I know you're both very busy, but this show, this platform, Champ Media, all about the students, student athletes, and also students who are impacting the game and working in sports beyond simply just playing on the field and on the court. So curious to hear how both of you first got involved with MSBC and what you're most excited about for this upcoming conference. Bryn, I'll start with you.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having us here. We're excited to talk a little bit more about this year's conference. But when I started MSBC, I started for MSBC 13, so the last conference, and I was in the marketing team. So we're working on marketing to Michigan students, the focus on just Michigan students, but also had an interest in partnerships. So beauty of what MSBC is that we get to make it what we want it to be. So it's began in 2012 by Michigan students. So ever since then, it's just been run by students passionate about sports with MSBC alumni. And then this year, I'm in the media relations role for partnerships. So just bringing in our media partnerships as well as being an account manager for other recruiting marketing partnerships as well.
All right, so this started in 2012 because I was going to say they didn't have this when I was on campus there. I was back in the early 2000s, and had there been something like MSBC, I think I would have been all over it. DJ, talk to me about your role, VP of Partnerships. Now that the conference is up and running now for over a decade, how do you step in as a student and make an impact? Yeah,
so last year, joined the partnerships team as an account manager. So there's a team of 8 or 9 of us under our last year's VP that went out, did a ton of, combination of cold outreach and also warm outreach because we have such a insane, alumni and stakeholder network at the University of Michigan. And we could really, tap into those industry professionals to connect with our corporate partners. I think I excelled in that role. So I was promoted to VP of partnerships this year. So now I have a team of 8 under me. This year our focus was just playing the numbers game. The more outreach we do, the more partners we bring in. Seeing 13 years of teams that do it, I had a really good baseline for how my team could be successful. So we did 1,100 outreaches this year. We brought in 50 corporate partners so far. We've broken the revenue records. We brought in $108,000 for the conference. Without partners, there's no revenue. Without revenue, there's no conference. And, every year as we get more and more partners and more revenue from those partners, we do bigger and better things. So Bryn mentioned that we started in 2012. That was at the Ross School of Business. We have wildly outgrown that space. We're at the School of Kinesiology the last few years where we fit 1,100 attendees, 700 being students and 400 being industry professionals from our partners, from our speakers, our alumni, and our stakeholders that I've touched on. And it's just a really special event. And I think our corporate partners are really drawn to it because of the attendees that we bring in.
No, I've always wanted to attend the conference. I'm excited that I'll be able to be out in Ann Arbor this year for the first time. And I always feel like I touch base with some students who are involved in the conference, but it's always too late. It's always, oh yeah, it's actually happening next week and we're good. Let's do it next year. I wonder what the timeline is for something like this. You have such an incredible list of speakers and partners and a lot of things happening, obviously, at the conference. So, Bryn, walk us through the timeline of what it takes to put something like this together.
Yeah, absolutely. We're excited that you'll be out here for this year. But so a conference happens typically in October. This year it's October 17th. And really, like, we have that weekend, and then right after is recruitment. So we get the new up-and-coming team ready to go. And then by winter, we're beginning our speaker outreach, our partnership outreach, slow marketing, slow event planning, as it's still months away. And then by summer, it's very heavy partnership outreach. That's when we're really securing our partnerships, as well as beginning our marketing push, confirming a lot of our speakers. And by the fall, it's keynote speaker confirmation, panelists, and then that's when event planning gets heavy. It's minute by minute. So event planning is sitting down and they're noting every single minute of the conference, and then heavy marketing. And with our creative and branding team, that's full year. They're just grinding away, coming up with new logos, new designs, and making the conference the beauty of what it is.
All right, I'm going to have you guys go back and forth, and each one of you, I'd like to name drop who's attending this year's conference. All right, DJ, I'll start with you. You shout out a name.
Yeah.
Bryn, you come with a name, and you guys go back and forth.
All right, I'm a big Yankees fan, so CC Sabathia is my guy this year.
Alexis Ohanian.
Duncan Robinson.
Grant Hill.
Brandon Graham.
Larry Friedman.
Amy Hopfinger.
Drawing a blank. Kate Johnson.
Jessica Berman.
Tracy Wolfson.
Kate Johnson.
No, I'm slowing down.
All right, so the point has been made. There are some heavy hitters coming to this conference, and also some folks that, a student or even an industry professional might not be familiar with. So there's an opportunity then to learn who somebody is. And I think that's a big part about the sports media world, the business of sports, is just knowing who the players are and knowing what everybody does. And people change roles often. People, go from company to company. Companies evolve and change. So for you, who are you most excited to spend some time with? Who do you think is going to have a real impact at the conference for those who are in attendance?
Yeah, I can touch on this one. I think the athlete-led investment panel is going to be really cool. Coming out of the Ross School of Business, a lot of young professionals are interested in the future of investing, wealth management for athletes, and having a panel led by Mark Patrikoff of the Patrikoff Group, with Brandon Graham, CC Sabathia, and Duncan Robinson, both because I've been a Michigan basketball fan and a Yankees fan my entire life, and Michigan football. Brandon Graham, don't love the Eagles, but rooted for him when he was on Michigan football. Is going to be awesome. Seeing how these athletes manage their money post-college, especially now in the evolving world of NIL, when all of these student athletes are going to be making so much money when they get to the professional years and beyond, how they're going to be managing that money and what vehicles, whether that's private equity in sports or personal other private investments, how they're going to be going about that. So I think it's be really interesting, to see them touch on that, and also just as a massive sports fan, just to be in all of them at the conference.
I'm always amazed, too, with how many opportunities are presented to athletes and how they have to be able to say no. You can't invest in everything. Everybody's coming at athletes because they know they can make so much money now, like you mentioned. Exactly. So, yeah, that should definitely be a good one, and obviously a panel of heavy hitters. And I like that this conference, too, is not just for Michigan alum. A guy like CC Sabathia, bring his voice and perspective into the conversation only benefits the Michigan community at large. How about you, Bryn? Who are you most excited to see, in which panel or event or part of the conference you think will be most impactful?
Yeah, I think the FIFA World Cup panel. I grew up playing soccer, big soccer fan. So I think with Larry Friedman and, as DJ mentioned, Amy Hopfinger, bringing people who are just leaders in the industry. I mean, Larry Friedman is LAFC co-president. And then Amy Hopfinger, CBO, Chief Business Officer of FIFA World Cup. So people who are so influential in the soccer market. I also think, especially right now with the like evolving culture of soccer, the like transforming. We've brought in last year we had Julie Ehrman from Angel City FC. So just a lot of big new names in the soccer industry that makes me excited.
You know, I feel like the World Cup coming to the United States, a lot of folks just have no idea what next summer is going to bring. And having these conversations early in October the year before, I think will get people to start to realize just what a massive opportunity is and what a moment that's going to be next summer. I went to one of those World Cup club games this year at MetLife. I took a bus from Port Authority, and it's as if the city was like, oh, it's just Wednesday.
Right.
They didn't realize you're going to have 70,000 Real Madrid fans showing up trying to get to, New Jersey.
That's awesome.
It's going to be kind of crazy, to be honest.
I was studying. Sorry.
Yeah, I was going to ask you guys where you guys are from. I know you're in school in Ann Arbor, but where's home for you? And are you going to, be able to attend the World Cup or be a part of it next summer?
So I grew up in Westchester, New York, moved to Orange County, California, halfway through 9th grade. So right before COVID hit, which was definitely a weird transition as a high schooler. Since then, been pretty bi-coastal between New York and California. Would absolutely, I'm not even a huge soccer guy, but I always watch the World Cup just because I appreciate, I think baseball and basketball and football are popular sports. Soccer is, a completely different level. The entire world watches soccer. Would love to get into it. Would love to go see a match if possible. And I'm really interested in like the infrastructure that goes into all of this, like the city planning, hosting this many tourists and these many games is going to be absolutely insane. So excited to see how they manage that, and would definitely love to attend something like that.
Yeah, and I'm from Chicago, the suburbs of Chicago, born and raised. Tough time being a Bears fan, but nice to be driving distance to Ann Arbor. I was studying in Madrid last semester, so being in that environment around the Real Madrid fans was definitely an experience, got me way more into soccer. And an old teammate of mine, she's on the U.S. women's soccer team, so going to be seeing her in the World Cup, which is crazy. Makes me feel like I'm on the team. So yeah, definitely invested, hoping to make it to see a game or two.
You know what's so great about this conference, just looking ahead, it provides a path for those in sports who want to be a part of it and, didn't necessarily compete on the field. I mean, we love celebrating athletes, obviously at Champ Media and student athletes, but there's so many of them who don't go on to play professionally in their sports or do for a limited amount of time. And then later on in life are pursuing other opportunities. It's just a reminder that there's so many other jobs and paths in sports. And I think that's important for young people to understand and even try to aspire or just envision that there is a path for you if your jump shot isn't as, good as it was maybe in high school as you get older. So for each of you, as you start on your careers post University of Michigan, are you thinking on a particular path, or is there certain aspects of sports? I know, DJ, you talked a little bit about the wealth management for athletes, but where do you guys see yourselves going, and how is this being a part of this conference, you think, catapulting you in that direction?
Yeah, so I don't know exactly what I want to do. Honestly, I hate that question because I get asked by my parents way too much. But in all honesty, I'm on calls 3-4 times a day, 8 months out of the year with corporate partners, and being able to learn email etiquette and call etiquette and sales and interpersonal skills, and just being able to sell a product that is MSBC, but also being able to sell myself has been extremely influential for me. So I think just continuing to beef up my resume with the people that I'm surrounding myself with, have a ton of sports teams and leagues that I could call up their HR, call up their reps, and feel confident that I could set myself up for success or set my friends up for success. So that's been an awesome opportunity for me. So even though I don't know exactly what I want to do, I know that I've been presented with a plethora of opportunities because of MSBC and the tools and the means to go out and execute.
Yeah, and just building off of that, I'm a senior, so graduation seems like it's nearing. But yeah, I mean, MSBC in itself, of course, the conference provides us with opportunities, but the behind the scenes, the team, the network that we're given, the push for networking with MSBC alumni and other alumni who have gotten us opportunities. I'm sure DJ and I can both both speak to internships we've had that already I feel like in the internship, I can set myself apart with my professional development and have gotten tons of opportunities through MSBC, through connections. And now I feel like networking is like a second nature type of thing for us. And especially being on partnerships, you just nail it down. You have learned how to sell, you learn how to talk to professionals. So yeah, really just all around the experience is fulfilling.
Something I miss about life on campus is that there's always just so many things happening on a given weekend or any given day, different organizations putting on events, games, different clubs, all that stuff. How can people attend if they're going to be in Ann Arbor on October the 17th?
It's a great question. And I think that's kind of the beauty of it. Everybody that's there wants to be there. Our speakers all pay their own way. Stephen A. Smith paid his own way. Julie Ehrman paid his own way. Alexis Ohanian is going to pay his own way. So that's kind of the beauty of it. And then the students that come to the conference wake up and line outside the door at 7, 8 a.m. to be there for 8 hours out of their Friday to come network with our recruiting partners, with our speakers, with our alumni, with our stakeholders. So the people that want to be there find a way. We have no shortage of interest. We sell out student tickets every single year. So it's the hungriest kids that hop on those student tickets links first and show up to the conference ready to, make a name for themselves.
Yeah, we get like 1,100 attendees every year. So our school kinesiology is packed. We have students circling in and out. I went my freshman year and just as a student experiencing it, and definitely was blown away by how many people were there. But you get the building filled up for sure.
So I'm curious, as both of you who are actively involved in sports business and planning a future in sports media or just in the sports industry, I'd be curious your thoughts on NIL for these student athletes. We have so many players across the sports at Michigan who come on this show and talk about different opportunities or different interests, off the field, off the court, but just as not only fans of Michigan athletics, but as students on campus, how are you seeing NIL play itself out, and how are you seeing it impact life on campus in the university?
Absolutely. We talked to a ton of partners in the NIL space, a lot of which have the mission to reach the 99% instead of the 1%, and I think that's going to be the difference. You have the Bryce Underwoods of the world who are, easily racking in those millions of dollars. But then how about all those other, micro influencers that could really make differences for brands through NIL? So it's whoever is going to create the formula for success to tap into those 99% and really, make a difference through those individuals, because there are so many student athletes. Personally, I'm friends with a lot of kids on the soccer team. And they might not be getting as much recognition as a Bryce Underwood, but they have followings. They're professional athletes. They could speak to the day-to-day of being an athlete. They could promote brands. And when you put together an army of them versus just one individual, you could really make a difference. So I think it's whoever's going to tap into those 99% are going to be extremely successful in the space.
Yeah, and just adding on to that, I'm in the sport management major, and my classes are packed with student athletes who speak about NIL, impacts on them, and it's interesting, I think, just after hearing them speak about their experiences within MSBC, we're really placing a heavy push on NIL. Last year, when I was on the marketing team, we started working on a athlete ambassador program. So bringing in athletes, bringing in a program where they can speak one-on-one with industry professionals who look at student athletes, want them to get in the professional space with them. So being able to channel that into our conference as well, I feel like that's been useful for students, especially sport management's very pushed to attend the conference too. So opening up those opportunities.
See, Bryn, I knew this was going to happen. I was going to chop it up with the two of you about MSBC, and then I was going to be like, wow, I'm going to work for these two someday. Like, I've been working in sports media for a long time. I've had a lot of odd jobs over the years. Now I'm talking to the two of you on campus. I'm like, oh man, my days are numbered. Like, these two are focused. This conference is serious. There are all these important people coming. I don't know what to wear. Oh my gosh. There is a whole thing with panels at these events. My buddy and I call it panel core. Let's be observant of who really dresses for the moment and who kind of plays it casual. They even leave their laminate on while they're on stage, but we all know who they are because they're on stage. I feel like there's a real kind of approach to just, panel core and what people choose to rock. I don't want to be like in the business casual with the Jordan 1 lows. Like, I feel like that's done, right?
Yeah, I mean, it is done. It is done. Everybody,
Done, right?
it's common to come to the conference, with you got the suit with no tie, a little unbuttoned for a little flair, and then you rock some cool shoes. I've been trying to think of some outfits for this year. I've been typing into Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, see what he wears. LeBron, he's got some swag. So trying to figure out what I want to rock for the conference this year. It's supposed to be like a strict dress code for the student planning team of navy blue suits. We might be breaking some barriers this year.
No,
so
you should go full NBA tunnel fit.
That's what I'm saying.
A crop top, bedazzled fishnet,
that's
like
how DJ's
diamond
coming
out.
in.
Yeah,
He already
There you
showed.
go.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I've been planning my outfit for the past year. So as soon as last year's conference starts, you might think I'm locked in the day of the conference. I am just people watching and observing literally what people are wearing. I'm like, it says so much about someone. It's funny.
And then you're at these professional athletes who are all in like phenomenal shape and they're wearing these tailored suits. And you're like, wow, Grant Hill, you look amazing. Like, what am I doing?
I know.
But no, I'm really excited. This is something, like I said, it's been on my calendar for a long time. Jessica Berman, who of course runs the NWSL, I know she's been attending for a number of years and is a proud Michigan alum, and talking soccer obviously is going to be someone to want to spend some time with out there. What are you hoping, lastly, as we wrap up our conversation here on the lab, what are you hoping attendees and particular students take away from this experience? Are people going to show up on Friday and have a job on Monday morning they start? Like, what can kids get out of this thing from coming and being a part of it?
I'll tell you right now to all the students that are watching, the MLB is one of our partners. They get 1,000 some odd applications for their internship program every year. And they're coming to the conference to prioritize the resumes they get from MSBC student attendees. So if you're a sport management major, if you're in Ross, if you're in any major across the school, we have 44 majors represented. You're the 1-1. You're what our recruiting partners are actually looking at. So come to the conference, know that you deserve to be there because you're at the University of Michigan and you deserve to talk to these partners. Make a name for yourself. Don't be shy. Everybody's there, flew out because they want to be there and they want to connect with students. So be confident. And I promise you that if you push hard enough, you can get that job by Monday.
Yeah. I mean, I would say for many students, this is their first go at recruiting, networking. And so for all of these students, it's a way to just get your foot in the door, not put too much pressure on yourself, meet people, learn about what they do, just be curious. That's what I've been telling a lot of people, just be curious, ask questions. People like to talk about themselves. So just wanting to know about their roles, their jobs, and utilizing speakers, asking questions, like it little goes a long way. So also DJ and I are wearing our MSBC sweatshirts. We are having
there you go. That's what I'll wear. I'm just rocking an MSBC hoodie and I'll be good to go. There you go. Problem solved.
We need to match. We need to show off.
You both have put in a tremendous amount of work, obviously, leading up to this, along with the rest of the team. So we appreciate it. We're looking forward to the event. Where can people find more if they still want a chance to sign up or make sure to attend?
At UMSBC on the Instagram is probably the easiest way. And we also have a UMSBC website, but I would tap into the Instagram. We have all the speakers posted. We're rolling out partner posts soon. We have case competitions for our students that are really cool. A ton of different ways to get involved through ambassador programs. Send it to your friends at different schools too. We had 30 plus universities represented last year. People flying in from the London School of Economics, from Boston University. Send it around. Check out the Instagram. That's how you find out more information. We'd love to see everybody there.
And Bryn is the media relations manager. We have you to thank for Champ Media being in the building. We'll have the whole thing covered. I'll be on site doing interviews for the lab. We'll have student athletes running around capturing content. So it should be a really fun couple of days back in Ann Arbor, and hopefully a win on Saturday against Washington as well.
Absolutely.
So.
No doubt.
It's a big deal natty matchup. So can't lose that with you guys coming and everyone who's there. It's big deal. A lot of pressure on.
No, I'm looking forward to it. It's great to meet you both. I hope we get a chance to hang out some more at the conference. And thank you both so much for taking some time to hang out here in the lab.
Thank you for having us.
DJ Frank and Bryn Stein joining us here on another episode of The Lab presented by Champ Media. My name is Ben Lyons. I'll see you all at MSBC on October 17th. And of course, as always, go blue.